Good morning, everybody. So before we get to the serious bit, let me ask you a question. When was the last time that you did a search about the best supplement for a good night's sleep? Maybe last night, if you flew in like I did. Exactly. How many tabs did you end up with? 5, 10, 20 open? Last time I looked up for healthy family dinners, I ended up learning about the history of quinoa, watching 3 cooking videos, and buying an air fryer I certainly didn't need. So this is the magic and chaos of search. You start in one point, and 45 minutes into the rabbit hole, you end up in a completely different place. But that's why we're here today. We looked into how generative AI is changing the face of search. By the way, I'm Esther, co-founder of Bolt Insights, and I'm here today with
Nina. I'm Insights and Analytics for Friesland Campina.
And we're going to tell you all about how we looked into how generative AI is changing search across different generations. So over to you, Nina.
Okay. We can't help but wonder, as we go through these different researches, we can't help but wonder, how is Gen AI search really evolving and disrupting, across generations, and also in the health and nutrition space. So we actually turned to BoltChatAI to have a more conversational approach to this qual and quant research. And what we have uncovered would be authentic, and genuine conversations in this space, led by AI personas, as you can see, where I would like to introduce to you 2 personas: Arif, who's the Gen Z, and Arya, who's the millennial cohort that we have today.
Life's busy. A million tabs open on my screen.
Meet my everyday sidekick, AI. It's not just tech. It's something I trust. From picking the healthiest shake to planning my workout or finding that perfect skincare drop, AI's got me. No doom scrolling, no guesswork. Just fast, personalized answers that get me. Like a bestie who never judges and always knows what's next. Decisions done in seconds. Because now I actually trust my tech.
Life's busy. A million tabs open on my screen and in my head. That's where AI steps in. Have 5 different dairy options. AI breaks it all down: ingredients, nutrition, price, in seconds. I trust AI to do the heavy lifting with real sources and clear comparisons. But I still do verify. If the info isn't consistent across the web, you're out. If it is, then you've just earned a loyal customer. So brands, take note. If your info isn't consistent across the web, you're out. But if it is, you've just earned a loyal customer.
That has really been at the core of what we are trying to do at BoltChatAI. I'm an ex-client myself. I worked many years at CPG Corporation, and I was really in touch with what the pain points were as a client. So first of all, the fact that sometimes we need to choose between scale and go the quant route, and depth and go the qual route. So that was my first pain. The second one was to come across fantastic technologies that I really wanted to try, and yet the people that I was talking to, they would really not know about insights. And then I will go to foundational agency partners that were fantastic in understanding the implication of insights for business action. But usually their methodology will be less agile and cost-effective. So based on this, we created a tool, BoltChatAI, that wants to make research more conversational and blend together the words of qual and quant with a fantastic tech and a team that really is passionate about insights. All of the people in our team, they come from research, client, consultancy background, and they can work as an extension of your team. But what is BoltChatAI? It's an AI-moderated quality scale tool. It all starts with a brief or a prompt in which we have to instruct the AI on what it needs to do. And this is a short but very, very important point, because in AI, quality in, quality out. We start with telling the platform what are our research objectives and who is the target audience we want to reach. And at the same time, we decide when the platform creates a discussion guide in a few seconds, whether we want the conversation to be multimodal, so combining text, voice, video, picture, whether we want it in different countries, and it covers 50+ markets with local translations, and whether we want to add quantitative questions on top of the conversational ones, projectives, behavioral questions, smart probing. In step 2, we start recruiting participants by connecting with them globally, inviting them to a 30 minutes in-depth conversation in which the AI moderates. And it's important to know that we disclose to the respondents that the AI is moderating the conversation. First of all, it's more ethical to do so, but we also find that when people know that it's AI on the other side, they don't feel so judged, and it takes away some of the bias that they will have in conforming their response to what the moderator would expect. And so we get really nice and rich content vulnerably shared by our participants. The interview is evolving like a human-to-human conversation because we have trained our AI based on human-to-human chats, and I'll tell you more about it, with the advantages of moderation at scale. So all these individual conversations happen in parallel, so we can interview hundreds of people at the same time. And at the end, the platform also creates a report with executive summary, key insights, all of the voice notes, video snaps, charts for closed-ends and open-ended, and personas. That is interactive, so the journey doesn't end there, but you can start querying the AI moderator and asking them, what was the language around this nutrition topic? Run meta-analysis, and even interacting with the persona, chatting to them, asking them about their customer journey and their pain points. I'll show you a bit of an overview of what it looks like from the respondent experience.
Since taking these vitamins, I definitely say my body feels more healthy. I used to feel quite fatigued in the morning, and like I said earlier, I used to get headaches quite often. So my last purchase, I actually went in-store to Boots. I'm very lucky that I actually live quite close to my local store, so it's sort of now in my routine. Whenever I notice that I've only got 2 or 3 tablets left, I will actively make the choice to go down to my local shop, and I will purchase a new bottle of the daily vitamins that I use.
So many features on the platform, just a couple I wanted to mention. So on one side, the creation of personas. We have spoken about it just now, and I think this is one of the big changes that such a tool can bring. The fact that you can now condense and humanize what people tell you into a profile that then you can engage with, like if it was a consumer in front of you. You can chat with them, asking them about their experiences, and you can even integrate that with other research you might have, making the persona dynamic. So if you had other qual research, as we were asking before, social media listening, trends report, you can upload all of that confidentially to the persona and keep updating it over time. When I was client-side, one problem was that we would run a research and then not run it again for 2 years. Now, over time, you can keep running your research and making your persona smarter and smarter. And it's important also to look under the hood. So what makes our AI moderator different? Because we are in insights, we have built our expertise in terms of how to run in-depth interview into the platform. It has been trained based on these human-to-human chats. It uses agentic moderation, so there is an AI moderator driving the conversation and an AI referee that checks every single answer. And if it's not good quality, it will tell the moderator to probe. And this creative probing you could also see in the video, where the AI understands what's being said in text, in voice, in pictures, and creates a contextualized prompt to really drive this authentic connection. And then finally, we always have human in the loops, a team of researchers that keeps the research checked and updated. So I might pass over to Nina, just to mention first that, as I said, the AI moderator can be useful, horses for courses, as we say. So very good for sensitive topics to drive that additional vulnerability for people, but also for consistency at scale. If you start interviewing hundreds of people and you want to retrieve a specific insight, it's a bit difficult to do it by reading all the transcripts. With AI, you can have immediate access in just a few seconds to those insights and drive a specific piece of information. So for use cases, it's great for creative testing, innovation testing, discovery work, enriching your own quant data, and ultimately better understand the consumers. So over to you, Nina.
So I think two standout features that I really see in the BoltChatAI software is, number one, its ability to do a meta-analysis. So really synthesize, in a fast and agile way, multiple projects, because we have done a few already with BoltChatAI, and therefore able to pull out different data sets, yeah? So for example, because as a client, sometimes marketing would ask a question, what do, for example, the younger cohort would think of versus the older cohort. So you can easily type that up in a prompt, yeah, in the software, and out comes the answer. So that's very agile, yeah, and quick, yeah, in terms of synthesizing data that you have. And the second one, which I found super interesting, is the AI persona foresighting. So you can actually talk to your cohort, yeah, to your demographic, and ask what if scenarios, yeah, into the future. So for example, in another study that we've done, I've actually asked what may be the top 5 innovation ideas that you have, that you feel would be good, yeah, when you launch into a particular space. And we tested some of those innovation ideas, and it actually won in the quantitative test. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. So for this particular study, what exactly did we uncover? So number one is that in Malaysia, yeah, there's near universal access of website searches, yeah, but actually Gen AI is fast closing the gap at 67%. Even in like 3 years of launch, yeah, of the Gen AI, it's already high in terms of penetration. Secondly is that the utility of Gen AI is really in this pronounced ability to synthesize complex and information-sensitive data. That people will not naturally be an expert in. So if you look at the category where it has a higher search volume, it would be in banking, finance, and money matters, yeah, followed by food and cooking, and then health and nutrition. So health and nutrition is particularly relevant for Friesland Campina, yeah, and what we have seen in this research is that doctors, for example, you have a diagnosis and you want to talk to a doctor, but you may have limited time in doing so. So you go to Gen AI to understand your situation or a person's situation in a very safe and private manner, and that's why you go to Gen AI. So that was particularly interesting for us. And we feel that what we have uncovered is that Gen AI's value is really in automating this laborious task of research and comparative comparison. And this comparison that we've seen is actually a building block in terms of creating that consideration set at the path to purchase, at the start of the path to purchase. So as an example, when you prompt in the Gen AI, you'll be able to understand through lists and tables what are the features, yeah, of different, let's say, iPhone models. So for example, if I want to see if it's worth it to buy an iPhone 17 versus the iPhone 16 of last year, I can easily just check in Gen AI and it will list down all the features, yeah, available, and then I'll be able to make an informed decision, yeah, about which iPhone should I buy. Yeah. So traditionally, the path to purchase does seem long and winded. So you'll start off with, having multiple clicks, yeah, and then going through different tabs, yeah, and going into this, as Esther was saying, rabbit hole of information. And then you go into this self-synthesis. So what are the pros and cons, yeah, of having read all of the literature that you've now read? What are the pros and cons of each, yeah? And then you also turn to verify it, yeah, either through other sources, from your friends or family in terms of recommendation. And then that's when you make an informed decision that will pull the trigger for you to purchase. Yeah? But in Gen AI today, what is happening is that it accelerates this path to purchase journey. So if you are looking at the consideration set in Gen AI and you like what you're looking at, yeah, you like the choices, the options that Gen AI is giving to you, and then you also like the comparison, yeah, that you see in its lists and tables, yeah, it actually prompts you to purchase right then and there. So that's what we've been seeing in the research. Yeah. And this is especially true from Gen Z's perspective because they trust the AI synthesis more, yeah, because they see it as an honest friend, which is a bit different from what millennials, yeah, think, because millennials, of course, habits are a bit harder to break, so they still alternate between the Gen AI and the website search, yeah, back and forth, yeah, and then they do a self-check also if that makes sense for them. And then if the data is consistent across Gen AI and the website search, then that's when they actually earn the trust of the Gen AI and would actually lean towards it more in future. So as a whole, AI is therefore seen as an empathetic advisor, yeah, and also as a non-judgmental coach, yeah, or friend or confidant that you can talk to, yeah, in a very personal and safe manner. So interestingly, what we have seen as well is that millennials actually have a higher usage, yeah, of Gen AI, followed by Gen Z, and then followed by Gen X. Even if the usage of millennials is actually quite high, Gen Z's trust in AI is higher. So if you look at this graph here, Gen Z do tend to have higher trust to the Gen AI, but Gen X is a bit lagging behind in both parameters. And contrary to the skepticism that we see, yeah, whenever we see, for example, brand posts happening, yeah, in the website searches, it's actually very different for Gen AI because they don't see brand mentions in Gen AI as a sponsored post. Yeah, so they see it more as the Gen AI's way of intellectually summarizing, yeah, in a neutral, curated way, what is happening in this space, yeah, and able to really understand what is best out there for them and what are the safest options for them. So we found that very enlightening, and we saw a lot of opportunities for us as a brand in order to leverage this thinking. Yeah? So I think 3 learnings for us is, number 1, when it comes to making sure that we're available and our brands are being cited in Gen AI, we need to be also in authoritative sources. Yeah, so that's number 1. So we need to be in, let's say, publications that are esteemed, yeah, journals that are of high caliber or of high credibility to make sure that AI is able to capture us. Secondly is we need to use data-driven language. So words such as research shows, yeah, or for example, percentages that show that we are preferred by, let's say, 9 out of 10 moms, always help in making sure that we are also being seen by Gen AI as credible. And of course, offering a balanced view, because if you look at Gen AI now, they also always show the pros and cons. So offering a balanced view about your brand out there is also a good way to make sure that you're being captured by Gen AI. So we really learned a lot, yeah, in this study with BoltChatAI, yeah, and we saw that the AI is now evolving into more of a health and nutrition coach, yeah, for Gen Z and millennials, yeah, more and more, and therefore we had many actions coming from this report.
Thank you so much, Nina. Just to close off, it was a complete honor to partner with you on this study. And you can see a pattern here. In search and in research, people are starting to engage with AI like if it was a partner and a companion, almost a coach. I don't know if you saw the stats that the key use case for GenAI in the first year was summarizing document. Already since last year, it's become organizing my life, provide companionship. And it might be scary, but this is what's happening out there. And that's why I invite you to engage and understand how GenAI is changing not only search as we saw here, but really the way people will connect going forward. Thank you very much.